So, Clove, how exactly did you know, become immortal?
Well, it all started when I was born. And then, you know what? I'll just tell you later.
You guys completely killed the previous video on some lore about Agent 8 and why Clove is actually the 25th agent rather than the 24th, so I decided to go ahead and make another lore video, as requested. This time, we're going to discuss one of the deepest mysteries about Clove, and that's their immortality. Where did they get their immortality from? Were they born with it? When was the first time they resurrected themselves? What do these player cards mean? And a very interesting one is Clove evil. I'm just going to dive straight into it and keep in mind that pretty much everything I say are all just theories, assumptions, and guesses. At any time the devs can completely change Clove's lore since it's not fully set in stone yet. Most of us already know by now that Clove is the only agent among the Valorant protocol that is immortal, like properly immortal, where they can completely die and simply come back from the dead, or be useful in some other dimension. One agent in particular is actually concerned by this, and that's Astra.
Hey boss, I spoke with our new friend. Wanted to know more about where they go when their soul takes a break. Nothing like the astral plane. Ooh. I checked our database and that's my small collection of Guardian records there. As far as I can tell, immortality is not rare in Radiance. It is unprecedented. They worry me. That their power, it's a blessing now, but later, Chale, I'm not so sure.
For reference, the astral plane is basically a higher dimension where people believe that a person's soul travels once they are dead, as they enter the spirit world. Astra claims that when Clove dies, they don't enter the astral plane, but rather they're in some completely different realm that Astra cannot detect. This makes her a bit anxious because she finds that Clove's powers aren't just rare among Radiants, but it's unprecedented. They are the first to ever have this kind of power. Astra feels that although in the time being it may seem like a blessing, probably because Clove is on the same team as the Valorant protocol, but she's worried what would happen if Clove were to start using their powers for other purposes. And already, we have a little hint that this is something that has crossed Clove's mind before.
We could have ruled this world together.
Imagine having two immortals, let alone one, team up together for the purpose of ruling the world. They could easily do it because nothing will kill them. And it looks like Clove already knows this, and I'm going to take a second and cook at an extremely high temperature here. But what if Riot makes it so that in the future, Clove becomes an evil character and gets kicked out of the Valorant protocol, therefore removing them as a playable agent and thus introducing an agent's rotation, or even temporary agents as the roster continues to grow? I don't know, it seems logical to me to some extent. As a side note, there have been debates about Clove not being a Radiant at all due to their extraordinary abilities of resurrecting themselves, and the fact that KO's null command has no effect on Clove's ultimate. But it doesn't really make sense because Clove's ultimate only works once they've died, and at that point the null command technically doesn't apply anymore since Clove isn't alive. But I guess it could be argued otherwise that they should still be suppressed even afterwards. Okay, enough of bad Clove. Now let's talk about good Clove. There are two main theories when it comes to how Clove discovered their ability to resurrect themselves and learn about their immortality. The first theory stems from Clove's trailer titled Two Worlds. Clove is killed in combat here and then wakes up in another dimension where we see a strobing yellow line that beats like a heart, as well as butterflies flying around. As Clove walks around, we get to see other agents in this realm frozen in time, but we also get to see other figures of Clove's frozen in time as well, presumably from the past. The most important one here is a younger Clove who looks very sad and has a tear in their eye. The main Clove seems to get very upset at this and even angry upon coming to this memory of them in the past. There must have been something that happened in Clove's past that put them in that state, and there's an overall theme in the community suggesting that Clove was killed at some point in the past when they were younger, which is what's being depicted here by a traumatized Clove and several lines of police tape. Clove's family was also probably killed in whatever that happened, which adds on to their sorrow, and while being dead, Clove learned of their ability to come back to life. This is where Clove learns about being immortal and begins to figure out more about their radiant powers, because ultimately, to find out that you're immortal, you kind of have to die and be like, oh shit, I'm not dead, and then start connecting the dots. Anyways, that was theory 1, pretty interesting but also a pretty sad one. This next theory has a lot more juice to it in my opinion, and it makes a lot more sense. Theory 2 is that while Omen was on his super cool solo mission, and the fight breaks out between him and Hourglass, Clove happens to be there in the library unknowingly to Omen. At this point in Clove's life, they probably know that they have some sort of radiant ability like smokes and whatnot, but they're probably unaware of their ability to resurrect themselves. Maybe. During the fight, Omen discovers Clove and he tries to protect them from harm. Now, some people are saying that Omen detected that Clove was an immortal already, but to me it doesn't make sense trying to protect someone who literally cannot die and putting yourself in a situation where you can. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like a very smart thing to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that Omen doesn't know that Clove is immortal and tries to protect them, as depicted by this player card, ultimately failing and Clove being killed. Before Omen could get the chance, Clove's body is taken away by Hourglass and put on their boat while Omen escapes. During this time, Clove overhears Hourglass talking about their plans with the journal that they intend to bring back to their secret base, which is probably going to be the new competitive map Bastion coming soon.
Hey, Brimstone! I've been helping Cypher with the journal, aye. The one Hourglass tried to steal. There were some bits in there he couldn't figure out. Something about a secret cavern or some such. And that got me thinking about some things those Hourglass numpties let slip when they hauled me aboard their wee little boat. You'd be amazed at what some people say around a dead body. Yapping on and on about bringing the journal back to its rightful place in the Elder Grotto. You see where I'm going with this? The journal's talking about an Hourglass base. A special one too. Shy's getting the ship's navigation logs. We'll suss it out. Just you wait.
Now, as Clove overhears all this, they figure out that they aren't really dead and they can come back to life. Which is what they do, and they escape from Hourglass, eventually finding Omen again and being introduced to Brimstone and the Valorant Protocol. Now, this Metamorphosis card is important here because, as the name suggests, a transformation takes place at some moment in time within Clove. The significance of the fight at the library is that Clove learns their strongest power, which is Immortality. I wonder if this card purposely highlights the moment where Omen is protecting Clove, an immortal being, as the canon event which led to them discovering their true abilities. And of course, we can also see the butterflies flying in, which is a depiction of the life energy accumulating to allow Clove to resurrect themselves from the dead, since their power does seem to be drawn from the butterflies. And a quick fun fact about butterflies, the ancient Greeks believed that a butterfly was a human soul which was loose from a dead body. In China, in some instances, it can have the meaning of immortality, and for some Christians and Native Americans, it's a symbol of rebirth. I got that from Google, by the way. So it does make a lot of sense to have the butterfly as Clove's signature icon. This second theory also has its own rebuttals, like how if Clove finds out that they're immortal for the first time while being dead on the boat, wouldn't they be talking about that discovery to Brimstone rather than the journal that the Hourglass are planning to bring back to their base? It does seem like Clove already knew that they're immortal. It's very difficult to pinpoint exactly when Clove found out, as Clove keeps it fairly secretive even when asked by other agents. I guess we'll have to wait for more lore to drop in the future, but I really love how deep the story goes with the new agent, and how engaged the community is. Leave your comments below what you guys think, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any feedback or suggestions for future videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.